You're super smart. Part of your, your personality identifies highly with intelligence, and you do value intelligence. You don't really enjoy being around stupid people or people that have a hard time keeping up with you, because mentally you're light years ahead. Your whole identity is based on creating a better future, creating almost a utopian society. And that comes from the influence of Uranus right here. This is the Aquarius ruler, and that's why Aquarians are a little nutty. They're off on their own, bag with all that. They really believe highly in the future. They believe in freedom for everyone. They believe in independence. They believe in truth, universal brotherhood of all mankind. They really don't believe that there's a separation between people as big as what we think. So that's another reason that you would associate highly with progressive energy, or any kind of thing that feels like it's moving towards a better future, because that's a huge part of you. You just say, yes, that feels right. I know that's right. And so that's a big part of this equation. The fact that it sits next to Mars, oh, honey. When you blow up big. And it can take a while because that Scorpio fuse is long. But boy, once that powder hits, I guarantee you can take some people down.
Education is no substitute for intelligence. Belief can be manipulated. Only knowledge is dangerous. Frank Herbert. Good evening, everybody. It's been a while, not that long, but it's a decent amount of time. Welcome. Hopefully you've had a good weekend and things are going well for you. In this video live stream, I am going to go over my favorite genre. My favorite genre is science fiction, sci-fi. Probably second place would be fantasy, and third place would be historical fiction. They're all good. I get excited for good science fiction stuff. And this one isn't going to cover just all science fiction, because there are science fiction books, movies, and TV shows where I'm like, I would really love, like they're in the top, but I'm doing science fiction where it's in space, and there's still a lot of stuff that's about in space and a globe Earth, and you would think that someone whose favorite genre is science fiction, and a lot of it is in space, that I would probably not be a flat earther. Does that make you think at all? Anyways, let's get to it. So first up, Dune. Number one, no questions asked. As far as books, Dune is my favorite science fiction book of all time. The series is great. Even Children of Dune is good. What was the third one? Gosh, Messiah of Dune. Then it starts getting very, very philosophical in the other books in the series. And I probably read the entire series. Well, first two books I probably read 20 times at least, probably 30. The entire series I know I've read at least 5 times. And it might be time to revisit and read everything over again when I have time. So good. And if you didn't know, that they are doing a remake of Dune for a movie, not a TV show, a movie, and it's gonna have pretty decent cast, pretty good director, the guy who directs visually stunning work. As far as like movies that I would rewatch, not really, but we'll see. The original Dune, I know people don't like it. I didn't like it. Some of it just goes off of the book, but you know, the book the book Dune, very, very hard to get the nuances correct. And but as far as the cast, I thought the cast for the original Dune was okay. It was good to okay. It was the best cast that I've seen in a Dune movie or Dune television series. Okay, so the second book. So actually, my second favorite book is not a science fiction book. It's a kind of historical fiction fantasy called The Lions of Al-Rasan by Guy Gavriel Kay. But I'm not going to go over that one. But I'm just trying to illustrate that Dune, science fiction, the genre, it's my favorite book of all time. Now, my third favorite book is Ender's Game. And Ender's Game, yeah, the movie wasn't so good at all. It was a great book, and of course, it's another book and a movie in space, globe, Earth, because they're all fighting these alien hive type creatures, and it's just a great book in many ways. But yes, this is my third favorite book of all time, bar none. Again, in space, in a globe, Earth. Look, everyone, I would say a lot of people who are my age, plus or minus a decade, they grew up the same thing with the same stuff I did. The same genre, same tastes. Some of it might have veered off, but you know, there's just so much to choose out there, even in the science fiction arena. Hey, Christian, how's it going? Just in time. So yeah, Ender's Game. I've probably read the original book 10 times at least. The series, of course, I didn't read the series all too much, maybe just twice the whole series. I think the one with Bean, he wrote it a couple, maybe even a decade later. But basically, it's like Ender's Game. It's in the same in the school, but it's from Bean's perspective that Ender really doesn't get to see. I thought that was also pretty good, but it doesn't beat the original of Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game. Now I'm gonna go on to the movies. As far as movies go, there's a lot, but this is gonna be a no-brainer. The Empire Strikes Back is, of course, my number one movie as far as science fiction and especially in space. I mean, aside from Star Trek, Star Wars is the go-to space movie out there. I don't want to kind of go into Star Wars. Star Wars is really good too. I mean, that's what started it all and made you get excited. But Empire Strikes Back is just phenomenal. So it's my favorite movie, actually. Probably I've probably seen Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back so many times, and my wife, and I know a lot of people are like this, but you can as the movie's playing, you know what they're gonna say beforehand. And my wife, when I watch it with her, she sees me watching it, she goes, "Haven't you watched this like hundreds of times already?" And then I'll just quote exactly what's coming up. I mean, that's how much I love Star Wars, or love Star Wars, the original. Let's see, Simon Hawkins. Imagine if they made Jodorowsky's Dune. Very esoteric, that Jodorowsky's Dune. I don't know if I would have liked it, but it is definitely would have been a trippy Dune experience. The thing is, I don't think they would have gone towards adhering to the book, but they would have definitely made it unique. Okay. Hey Nash, how's it going? So that is my favorite movie of all time, and it hits number one, space science fiction. There are a couple of movies I would say comes in second place. I would have to say The Matrix. That movie is a classic, something I'd watch over and over again. But a lot of these movies it's just about rewatchability and what it means to me, I guess. And so the next one is Gattaca. I guess this would be. It's not like a great movie. It's not like a phenomenal movie. It's I guess it's definitely in the top 5 somewhere. It's very underrated in many ways, but it's about the human spirit. It's about, of course, it's not. It's kind of a globe Earth movie in a way because he wants to go to space. Ethan Hawke is the main character, but the thing is, he lives in a future where they know exactly when you're gonna die, how you're gonna die, your limitations, and all of this stuff, just through, I guess, DNA sequencing or whatever. And so they know what you're capable of. They know how intelligent you are, and so they choose. Okay, this is what you're going to be assigned to as far as working for as a job for the rest of your life. And so the ones who, before they even get to be grown up, to take, to actually, so it's all based off of nature, not nurture. So he's probably one of the last people, one of the few people who actually had a natural birth, and then his parents had a second kid, which is I forgot his name. He's also pretty popular now. Jude Law, and Jude Law is the product, like just the perfect human. He's no, I'm sorry. Jude Law is a different character, but his genetics is just through the roof, but he just couldn't hack living up to the expectations of his own genetic code, I guess. And then but anyways, Ethan Hawke has a brother. Their parents have a son. You'll see a video snippet of mine. I can't play it because it gets blocked, but he's a detective. He's over here. He basically is solving a murder crime, and that's why he's in the picture, and he's getting close to find out who it is, and he realizes it's probably his brother. And they had a thing where they would swim and have a race to see who could go the furthest, and Ethan Hawke always beat him. And his brother is actually supposed to be much better. He's supposed to be physically better, mentally better, smarter, perfect, because he was genetically manipulated before his birth. Even his eye colors were chosen beforehand. Oh yeah, so his brother Anton. Ethan Hawke's character is Vincent. Uma Thurman is the love character, and she's supposedly also very highly genetically qualified. And he goes through wherever he can just to become an astronaut and fly into space and go to another planet, and because the planet he's on right now he doesn't like at all. And his brother Anton goes, "How do you do it?" And Vincent goes, I never hold anything for the trip back. So he's always going for whatever he can. His drive, his focus, that surpasses all of the human spirit, surpasses any of the material genetic limitations that science or civilization or society places on an individual. It's one of my favorites. It's just the premise alone, but the music, the acting, it was all phenomenal. So a very underrated movie. If you've never watched it, you should go ahead and watch it. It's great. And of course, we're gonna get into some very easy movies to like. Shoot. Aliens. Sigourney Weaver. Alien was good. It was good. It was great even. But Aliens is the one that you watch over and over and over again just because of all the other actors. Hicks was good. Hudson was good. It was just very good chemistry between the characters. There's a lot of action. The music was also very good. It was a very, very unique movie as far as what it brought to the table. And I just thought, you know, if I ever want just some sci-fi action flick, which is of course in space with the globe Earth, and I think that you even see that in the very beginning, even with the title crawl, the title intro, not a crawl. It's one of my favorite movies. And of course, you're gonna have to Space Odyssey 2001, another classic. Definitely not action packed. It's very introspective and thought provoking, and I enjoyed it. It's just something that you could just again do your daily activities and leave on, and you can just listen to it. You've already seen the visuals, and these are like one of the movies that I would just kind of play in the background and just kind of get the ambiance of it going. And so yeah, those are just a couple of space movies, one of the top ones that I would just watch and just love and enjoy and rewatch over and over again. And it's one of those things where you can't ever do a remake of it because you're just gonna automatically dislike it. Now, favorite TV shows. Firefly. Come on. Firefly. Even though it was only one season and you get a movie out of it with Serenity, Firefly was just one of those, just everything clicked. You've got your Western, you got your space, you got your anti-hero / hero, you've got a crew, you've got a family, you got adventures, you got everything. You got some humor, you got action. It was an amazing show, and it sucks that it only lasted for one season, but it's good because a lot of the actors and actresses, they got a good career starting with this. And it's very similar in feel to Cowboy Bebop. I think Cowboy Bebop was before Firefly, but Firefly kind of felt like a Cowboy Bebop, you know, the manga, not manga, but you know what I mean, not Japanese cartoon. But Cowboy Bebop is one of it. It's one of the notables that I'll say. Then of course Futurama, and this is basically a cartoon in space, globe space. And my daughter was named off of one of the characters, Leela Turanga, of course. That's because I liked Futurama so much. My brother would joke like, "Hey, how come you didn't name your kid Zoidberg?" But yeah, Futurama, I've seen every episode. I owned everything, actually. I think I have all the episodes. I even listened to the podcast that doesn't have any animation, just has a podcast of the characters, voice actors. And you know, I think I went to, what's that thing? It's like a convention of Comic-Con, and the guy who does Fry's voice and a couple of other voices, gosh, I can't remember his name. I took a picture of him. I got his picture. I don't think I was supposed to, but you know, I don't think I didn't get anything where I could sign his autograph. I don't really do like, hey man, I have your autograph type of thing, but I just thought it was cool that he was there, and he was one that also popular, and you know, voice actor. Of course, can't get away with Star Trek. I grew up on Star Trek, but more than that, Star Trek, The Next Generation. I just grew up with. It was every Star Trekkie, whatever you want to call it, grows up with their own generation. Generation before me grew up with the original Star Trek cast, and probably those my age, who are around 40 right now, kind of grew up with the Next Generation a little bit more, and liked it more. Of course, I know a lot of people who are also fans of Deep Space Nine, and they would think, what was the other one? There's been a couple, Enterprise and Voyager. Gosh, I mean, there's so much. But yeah, Star Trek Next Generation was one of mine. You can't, aside from Star Wars again, you can't get any bigger than Star Trek as far as adventures in space. Although what came close was Battlestar Galactica, the old Battlestar. Oh, I didn't know Nash he did Ren and Stimpy. Anyways, the old original Battlestar Galactica I watched as a kid with my brother, and you know I think it came on right before Buck Rogers. I actually, as a kid, I liked Buck Rogers better, but when I was kind of remembering it, like I remember more of the old Battlestar Galactica than I did of Buck Rogers. So maybe, you know, Battlestar Galactica was better, but again, it could just be the new Battlestar Galactica, which I liked. I thought the first two seasons was building up to something different and good, and I liked it. But then, you know, Battlestar Galactica kind of changed. I think they were gonna end it, or I don't know what was going on, but it definitely was a lot different. But it was still good. The actors, you know, I didn't care that Starbuck was now a girl and a bunch of other stuff. I thought it was a really good show on Sci-Fi. It's when you mention sci-fi, space operas, you pretty much have to go with Battlestar Galactica now. And the most recent one. Now, here's the thing with Firefly, Futurama, and Star Trek Next Generation. I could watch those over and over again. You know, I've seen it maybe an episode 3, 4, 5, 6 times already. I'll just go back and watch it again. I mean, Firefly, I watched probably each episode. I probably watched the entire season because there's only one at least 10, 15, 20 times. It is just a lot. I can't even remember. A lot of the times, of course, I'll just play in the background while I'm doing stuff. Back then. Same with Futurama. I've seen, and there's so many seasons, and I've seen so many Futurama episodes. Star Trek Next Generation, again, probably seen each episode maybe 2 or 3 times throughout my life. Not a lot, but of course there's a lot of seasons in the movies as well. Now, when you get to like Battlestar Galactica and The Expanse, it's almost like a space opera mystery type of thing. I didn't read any of the books beforehand by S.A. Corey. My wife got me the books, books 4 through 7, I think. And it's one of those shows where we binge watch, which is great because, you know, if you have Netflix, and it was Sci-Fi, and it was Amazon Prime, actually. Amazon Prime has it. You could watch the whole thing for free. I think season 4, they sold, Sci-Fi sold the rights to The Expanse to Amazon. Amazon bought it. So you're going to see season 4 on Amazon. We'll see how it goes. But it's one of those shows where, man, I wish there was another science fiction television show like this, because I hate waiting a year or 2 years for the next season. And the thing is, it's not one of those shows where you can just rewatch and enjoy because you kind of know what's coming. The mystery's kind of gone. You know, kind of like the characters. You kind of want to go back and just kind of see what was going on, see if it has any clues to anything. There really aren't any Easter eggs and stuff that build up. Like if you caught something back in season 1, you're gonna notice in season 2 or 3. It doesn't have any of that stuff. It's just kind of a good story, and you want to see where it goes. This is great, and but I don't know if it's favorite. It's just my current last one that I've seen, and I'm looking forward to season 4. It's kind of like Westworld, although Westworld is in space. I thought Westworld season 1 was great. I didn't see season 2 because we don't have HBO anymore. I heard season 2 wasn't that great. But of course, that's science fiction, but of course it's not a space thing, so it's out of this. That's why I also don't have Blade Runner in this. It's another notable. I like Blade Runner. Great movie. It's just really unique, but the only problem with it is it's not really a space science fiction. And sorry, I'm gonna read the chat. Simon Hawkins, Enemy Mine, Abyss, District 9, Alien vs. Predator series, Heavy Metal 81. I never heard of Heavy Metal 81, actually. Star Chaser, Legend of Orion, and Last Starfighter. Oh, I remember Last Starfighter. That was good. As a kid, I remember I was like, man, I wish I could be the Last Starfighter. Let me... And so, this is pretty much it. I mean, there's... remember V, the television series V? That's also notable. Very good. I would consider... I mean, for a television series of its day, I thought it was bar none great. And I remember it to this day. The Chronicles of Riddick. I don't think they're going to be in the top anything of my movies list. They're just fun movies to watch. If there's another Riddick movie, I'm going to go and watch the Riddick movie just because I like the character, and the series, the world building that they're doing as well. And what else was there? I think Planet of the Apes. You know, that's another space one. I wouldn't count it as like the greatest of all, but very memorable. You watch it and you just think everything's pretty cool and really different and things like that. So let's see. Going to the chat. Christian 70s had some great films, and Nash, he's getting nostalgic for the 70s. He was born in 69. Yul Brenner, Westworld. Yeah, I don't remember ever watching the original Westworld, the movie. And Michael Crichton, science fiction, he's one of the best. Jurassic Park is another great movie, a science fiction movie. Of course, it's not a space science fiction movie, so I didn't include it. But Michael Crichton, very good science fiction writer. He has a very predictive element to his writing. It always starts off with some introduction to new technology, and then that technology kind of runs away, causes a problem. People run, people solve the problem, and then there's another aftermath about the potential problems of technologies, because technology is just a kind of a tool. It could be good or bad. It just really depends on the people implementing that technology. And it was good stuff. The movie, the good books, and some really good movies that come from him too. Let's see. Sex with Androids in Westworld. So yeah, Westworld. I watched the original Westworld. I thought it was good, especially for its time. It has an issue with, what do you call it? Just time. Like you watch it now, it's just like the special effects aren't that great. It's okay. It's good, but it's not. You definitely notice it. It can take you out of it a little bit. I mean, the current Westworld that they've done on HBO is just incredible as far as how they did things. Let's see. Christian 70s film that's down to me. Serpico, Gotham. Yeah, we're not talking about just normal movies. Talking about, there's a premise to this. The entire thing is I love the science fiction genre, especially in space. Yet I choose not to believe in the globe model because the globe model has so many holes in it. Might as well be Swiss cheese globe. Of course, it's not a globe, so it'd just be Swiss cheese. So it has to make certain people think. One of my best friends doesn't agree with me. He thinks I'm believing in flat Earth and all this stuff about what's at the North Pole, magnetic North Pole. It's not about belief, because I haven't believed in anything my whole life. He was Mormon. His family was big into Mormonism. He got out of Mormonism, so that's a good thing. He just doesn't want me fooled into doing the same thing, but I've never I've never been the religious one. And I always think that Antarctica is just because there's so many gatekeepers within finding the truth. They'll say, hey, look, this is better. We've got all the graphic CGI. We've got millions of dollars pouring into this. You're going to have to believe us. We're telling you the truth. And then they'll just segue you into something else. And you're just looking into more rabbit holes. So I think the entire thing with the Antarctic Treaty is the same thing. Hey, there's all these countries that are in Antarctica, yet there's been a big Freemason / admiral of the U.S. military with big military intelligence that went to the Antarctica and explored, and there are all these great big world, another continent bigger than the United States. I think that's a bullshit story. I think that's they want to take attention away from the center of the Earth, which is the magnetic North Pole. They want you going, if you're going to go and explore the Antarctic, and of course they probably have it cordoned off. Who knows whether they're actually watching the Antarctic to prevent people. And there's a multinational treaty. However, the Arctic region, there are no treaties. The magnetic North Pole area seems are off limits, and I don't think they're going to take it anytime soon. The reason why, from the accounts that I've read, and these accounts are very sparse and definitely not ever talked about magnetic North Pole. The most you get from magnetic North Pole is, oh, it's just a region where the magnetic poles just move and keep fluctuating. You never see a picture. There's really nothing there, just ice. So the most magnetic, powerful magnet that we know of as humans in the existence of the universe or whatever science, is the strongest, most magnetic force in the world, and there's just gonna be ice in that area. I don't think so. I think there's gonna be more than that. And so they do everything they can to just make sure that, hey, there's nothing there. It's really ice and hazardous. If you're gonna want to go and explore something icy and hazardous, go to Antarctica. And then, but the difference is the animals that are there. Antarctic, probably not much for animals. I think emperor penguins might be the most that you'll see closer there. But the Arctic, almost teeming with animals in certain ways. Not like teeming like in an Amazon rainforest type of way, but a lot of animals, a lot of fish. I mean, a lot of whales make that trip up to the Arctic region to just thrive on fish. And of course, if you're in the Scandinavian countries, you know all about fishing. So I think the answer is go towards the middle. Don't go towards the outer edges. It's kind of like a lot of the science fiction, the space opera, is they want to explore, go out, explore outwards. It's never about exploring inwards. And I always think that's just kind of an indicator. Okay, let's see. Looking at the chat, I'm sorry. Yeah, Godfather 1 and 2. Those two are so great. I've seen them so many times. All right. That's it for tonight's show. I'm just trying to tell people more about me. Most already know this. I don't know why I have to rehash it. And I am the most ardent science fiction, space opera, space exploration fan. Too bad it's just all fiction. It's more fantasy than fantasy, it seems. And there are certain things that come close to science fiction, but that's in the fantasy setting. But it's you never know. Things could be blended so weirdly. No. All right. That's it. Thank you for watching. The answer lies at the magnetic North Pole, the area where no one wants you to go to, area that there are no treaties, because in my opinion, I think there are inhabitants within the magnetic North Pole area, because you don't make treaties with other nations outside of that nation, right? So there is probably a nation, 2, 3, most likely 4 nations within around the magnetic North Pole, and I think all this time, I think the powers of right now are trying to get technology and weaponry to advance to try to see if they can ever take out those inhabitants, because there's just so much resources at the center of the earth. But we're never going to know that, because they don't want us to know. Because if they told us, we would probably, well, first we would say, how's that? You guys lied for this all this time? Wait, you guys never went to space? What? You guys have been lying about a globe? It's flat? Like Harrison Ford in the new Star Wars movie, and what is it, The Force Awakens? He goes, it's true, all of it. And I don't know why that always gets me. All the mythologies, because they made the entire Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Death Star, Darth Vader a myth, I guess, where it started in the story where Rey was, and Harrison Ford goes, no, it's all true. I mean, that's just, imagine just I mean, it's crazy right now just to even think that the mythologies that we've all grown up with, they're saying it's just mythologies. It's just really old religious stories of societies that are like very, very non-technologically advanced. They're just, Stone Age people which now, as they're revealing more things, or we're seeing more things, there's great pyramidal structures within the earth, under canopies of forests, under the sea, technologies that they're hinting at, that people probably in the 20th century never even thought of doing, with a few exceptions. I mean, mainstream are just like, these guys are just like apes with stone tools, and they just had figured out a pulley system with 1,000 slaves pulling it just to build a tomb, a memorial for the king, pharaoh, leader, whatever. Except it's all over the world. They're making these same pyramids and with the same dimensions and everything like that. You just have to think. You have to use your mind, intelligence, whatever it is. Just everything you thought you knew has been a lie. Everything that the government, everything that comes across the news and the history books and everything, it's just to keep leading you away. And the thing is, you're going to peel enough of these where finally you're going to be like, okay, I'm ready for it. There's just been so many lies. Things are just bad all the time. There's always no solution, because the same solution is the ones that they set up for you. Whether it's politics, whether it's religion, whether it's money, whether it's fame, whatever, and information, whatever it is, they are controlling you and wanting you to find it on their terms. The thing is, with and they're using the technology of social media to help in that endeavor. Same thing with YouTube, and getting the next generation to get people over. Like, that's why you see so many newer people. They can't rely on Hollywood to keep it going, or NASA to keep it going. That's why they got private entities, billionaires, going for the private space adventure. That's why they got other countries doing the same thing. That's why you've got so many people who are getting out of the news, because people who are young aren't going to watch the mainstream media news. They think it's just outdated. They're going to watch people who are on YouTube, who do live stuff, whether it's Joe Rogan or anyone else. And of course, you see those same people doing the same thing as their predecessors, being the gatekeepers of information, and what the societal norm should be, and how you should think, rather than what you should think. Anyways, that's enough for tonight on that. Thank you for people who are watching. Open topic, Christian. Yeah, I could do an open topic maybe for an hour. Hopefully not too much. Anyways, I am going to end the stream, and I'll come back with an open topic in about 5-10 minutes. All right, I'll see you guys again in